And so for this next fight, we got two veterans that have established their brands as all-action fighters, and Billy Q, Damon Jackson. I mean, when Billy Q walks in the octagon, you know you're about to witness a crazy fight. And he's coming off a pretty bad loss, though. He was calling out Edson Barbosa for a long time. It seems like everyone at 145 that wants to move into the rankings sees Barbosa and wants to call him out because they think he's older and damaged goods. But, man, I mean, he got knocked out cold courtesy of a vintage Edson Barbosa knee. And mentally, that had to have taken, a toll on Billy, because not only was he knocked out, but he worked really hard to get into that top 15 position, and all came crumbling down pretty quickly there. He still fights the youthfulness about him, but he's 34 years old, so he can't afford too many more setbacks, and this fight with Damon Jackson is a must-win for him. Damon Jackson is in a similar situation where previous to his last fight, he had won 4 in a row. He worked himself into the rankings and got to face a established ranked guy in Dan Ige, and that was in January, and he got knocked out as well, pretty bad knockout. And Jackson's also 34, so he can't afford to mess around either. So both these guys are coming in here in a must-win situation. You know they're going to be well-conditioned and put it all out there. They always do. And they have a completely different style that it's going to be fun to watch because it complements, it makes for a good fight with how these guys match up. We got Billy Q, who is kind of a brawler, comes forward, and his striking can be a little bit sloppy. Like, he can throw a lot of looping hooks, and he doesn't throw that many straight shots. I feel like if he straightened it up and became a little bit crisper of a striker, he could be more effective. But he has nice kicks and great durability. Like, I see people question his durability, and now it's a little bit questionable after the Barbosa knockout, but historically he's been able to take shots, keep coming forward, and he can get hurt, but he can eat it. He tends to kind of usually start slow and then pick up as fights go on. Like, he gets dropped a lot and then he'll get back in it and win the fight. And I feel like in this fight on the feet, there isn't going to be as big of a threat of a knockout or anything like that. Maybe you have to be a little bit wary of the knees up the middle from Jackson, front kicks and things like that. But he's not going to really knock you out the punches. And I think Billy Q is going to be a lot faster. And if he could defend the takedown to keep it standing, he'll get the knockout. I definitely feel like Jackson's chin is just not what it used to be, and I think Billy Q's striking is just on another level in comparison to Jackson, who has okay offensive striking. He's long, and he'll throw those knees, front kicks, straight punches, but just isn't defensively that good, isn't comfortable on the feet, and he wants to get it to the ground. And Billy Q has had issues with takedown defense. I feel like his takedown defense isn't the greatest, but I do think he's worked a lot on that. His last fight, he was going for a lot of takedowns, and that's what ended up getting him knocked out. But I think that working on the wrestling offensively probably did help help his defensive wrestling as well. And his grappling is good. His jiu-jitsu is good. He has good ability to use his black belt to work back up to his feet. It's just Damon Jackson, if he takes him down, he can get to the back. He could backpack him and steal a round or two, and that's how Jackson could win the fight. With Damon Jackson, he's a leech on the ground. I mean, they call him Damon the Leech Jackson for a reason. He gets a hold of you. He can kind of just stay sticky and control for the rest of the round, and he has decent choke game, submission game, but I don't necessarily see him submitting Billy Q. I think if he wins, it's going to be through top control, and cardio is definitely on the side of Billy Q, and that's a big advantage for Billy. I think Damon Jackson has questionable cardio, to say the least, and if Billy Q can make it a tough fight where Damon Jackson can't get a lot of stalling time or kind of time to rest with the top control, that he could tire him out and get another vintage third-round finish. But I just am a little bit worried about Billy Q maybe dropping 2 rounds by being held down and losing the fight in that way. I'm going to go with Billy Q, though, just because I feel like he has more paths to victory. I think that his grappling is going to look leveled up, and I feel like I just can't trust the chin of Damon Jackson. I think he is very ripe to get knocked out at this point in his career, especially after getting knocked out in his last fight like that. So I'm going to say Billy Q gets a third round KO TKO. Maybe Jackson will win the first round. I think maybe he'll start well in the second, but get clipped and get hurt and then start to shoot bad takedowns, show signs of fatigue, and then Billy Q finishes him off in the third. So give me Billy Q, third round finish here.